Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be a busy day because I have several. First of all, this one, and this is not anything new as far as what I've heard and seen. Representative Flores, the first Republican in a South Texas district in over a century, has been brutally attacked with racist remarks since winning her district because she is a Republican. Of course, we had First Lady Joe Biden saying that Hispanics are as diverse as breakfast tacos. We had her called Miss Frijoles and far worse. And all of this is because she is a Hispanic woman who dares not to be a Democrat. I have several friends of mine from high school and college who are not Caucasian. And to a person, my friends who are Hispanic are about as, if not more, conservative than I am in their beliefs. Predominantly, they are Catholic, which is a very conservative faith. They are very fiscally conservative, wonderful people, but they tend to vote Democrat. And now that Representative Flores has bucked the system, she has come under fire for refusing to be liberal, refusing to be Democrat. Just because she ran as a Republican, they attack her. Now, of course, the Ms. Frijoles comment was in a blog post, and the Washington Compost immediately threw somebody under the bus saying that they paid the blogger to do that. That person is saying they did not. And this is just, well, business as usual for Democrats. They will say whatever they have to make you think they are the good guys. When we look at all of this, this is just more of the same. We have Representative Paul Ruiz, a Democrat who, of course, anytime racism is brought up, such as Mayra Flores, rightly pointing out that she's being attacked with horrible racist comments by Democrats, people like Ruiz immediately say, no, it's the Republicans, it's the Republicans, it's the Republicans. It is nuts. Now, of course, we have Mr. Gonzalez, a Democrat whose district borders Ms. Flores' district. He said he didn't pay the blogger. But of course, he still manages to attack Ms. Flores. Of course, he says we will not be advertising on this platform again, told the Washington Post, adding that he also condemned former President Trump for calling Mexicans rapists and murderers. Well, Mr. Gonzalez, President Trump did not call Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said that rapists and murderers are coming across the southern border illegally. They are coming from the country of Mexico into the country of the United States illegally by crossing that border. He never mentioned an ethnicity or an origin country. He just said that they are coming across that border. But Democrats don't like the truth. President Trump could have said the Taliban are making their people shave their beards to appear Hispanic, go into Mexico so they can cross into our country illegally. And people like Gonzalez would have said, see, he's saying that Mexicans are all terrorists. It's not exactly right, not even minimally right. If President Trump had said the Taliban is paying their people to pose as Hispanics to enter our country from Mexico, that is saying that the Taliban, an Afghanistan origin group, is paying their people who are from Afghanistan to pretend to be Hispanic to come into our country illegally from Mexico. That does not in any way say anything other than those words. But Democrats don't like the truth. Of course, he comes back on, if only Representative Flores had the courage to do the same. She's got far more courage than Mr. Gonzalez does, because she's still standing up for her beliefs, for her morals, for her values, and for those of her district. She's refusing to say, well, the Democrats told me I have to vote blue and be liberal, so I'll just obey them. This is quite honestly something that should just infuriate every American, that any politician could even consider the mindset of, I have an absolute right to force everyone of a certain ethnicity to vote for me, and to attack them and to bully them and harass them when they don't vote for me or when they run against me as a Republican. We have watched over the last several years as Democrats have cheered the first this or first that. They tried saying that Ketanji Brown was the first African American on the Supreme Court. Forgetting that Clarence Thomas is still on the court, and he wasn't the first. So, of course, they come back to say, well, it was a clerical error. She's the first African American woman on the Supreme Court. Forgetting that Justice Brown refused to even attempt to define what a woman is. So it's really no surprise when they go after Representative Flores, blatantly lying and saying that, well, she's the real racist. Texans, especially. I really hope you're watching this, and I hope that you're seeing that the Democrats are not your allies. The Democrats have run Harris County, Bexar County, Austin, and Dallas into the ground. Yet their, well, if you vote Republican, you're just an evil racist, has kept them in power. Don't forget that it was a Houston Democrat judge that issued an edict that all Christian pastors must submit to her all sermon notes for approval or be jailed. The plot of God's Not Dead 3. We had a pastor who served on the jury for a teacher who was asked the question and answered it, and then outside of class spoke to a student answering that student's questions, was attacked, and they tried to fire her for being Christian. David A.R. White's character was on the jury, although he suffered a health problem and had to be hospitalized. And when he got out of the hospital, he was arrested for not turning in his sermon notes. Houston tried to do that for real. Now, thankfully, they were smacked down hard. A higher level judge said, no, you may not tell Christians they must obey you and change their tenets of faith. That's exactly what they're doing to Ms. Flores. They're attacking her and telling her she must change her core values, change everything about herself, or she's an evil white supremacist racist. The last part I will say, there are people, Democrats mostly, who say that members of the Tea Party or other conservative groups have told them to go back to Mexico. And I'll never support that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. The only people who need to go back to their home country are those who've entered our country illegally. I don't care if you enter the country illegally and you need to go back to Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, Italy, England, Germany, Russia, China, Nepal, or Australia, or anywhere else. You enter our country illegally, or enter legally and stay too long to where now you're here illegally. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter who you are. You need to be sent back to your home country and told to get back in line. Yes, there are those who are telling liberals, and they're telling liberals of all ethnicities, that if you love socialism so much, please go to a socialist country. This is because we know that as soon as someone like an AOC or a Pelosi or a Nadler or anyone else, if they had to live as a socialist serf in Venezuela or China, they would not last a week before they would be screaming for America to send in the Marines to get them out. But if anyone does tell someone who is legally in this country, and Representative Flores would not have even been able to run if she was in this country illegally, being that this is Texas and we don't allow that. So she was born in Mexico, but she is a citizen of the United States. And she ran for public office and won. And I applaud her for that. In 2004, after I was reduction in force from a major energy company, I worked with Congresswoman Granger's group as she was not up for re-election that year. I went to Tyler and helped Representative Gomert. And Tyler was a very blue area. But with our help and the help of others, Representative Gomert unseated Democrat Max Sandlin, something not seen in a very long time. A Republican won that district. Now, I think Representative Gomert has been in D.C. too long. The swamp is getting to him, and by all reports, he's retiring, so that's good. Get out while you can, Louis. And I would say the same thing to Representative Flores. Go, do the work, find a worthy successor, endorse the crap out of them, get them elected, and come home before the swamp infects you. But if anyone tells a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, go back to Mexico, I'll be right there with that person saying, that's not allowed. No, we don't do that. You can tell them, I vehemently disagree with all of your politics and policies. I vehemently disagree with every vote you cast. I think you should not be holding office because you're not representing your district. I think you should go back to your home, your district, where you live in your state, and let someone else represent this district who will represent them. None of that is based on age, gender, or ethnicity. It's based solely on their actions. And I feel pretty confident saying these people have been told they need to be out of D.C. and just go home. And they're twisting it. Oh, he told me to go back to Mexico. And we never get any source material, no video, no anything. It's just their word against a random person they won't name. The only difference here is Representative Flores is naming names. We know who is calling her all of these things. And quite simply, they all need to be out of office, or they need to be fired from the jobs for harassment and bullying. And the rest of the world needs to pay attention to that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, be civil. We're here to discuss, dissent, and debate, not argue and scream like toddlers. I have only a couple times, but I have blocked people who refuse to remain civil, and I will do it again. We're adults. Please act like it. As always, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so that you're aware of all new content, because I am not on a schedule. I am working on a certification as I'm currently between jobs yet again after almost 20 years, and that's going to take up a lot of my time. So there are certain things that just cannot ignore. So until next time, have a wonderful day.